Good morning. This is Ronald Burr with another edition of Style Speaks. We're here on the campus of Howard University in the Blackburn Center. Don't tell anybody. I don't know if we reserve this space or not. So hopefully we're good for the next 15 or 20 minutes until we get our next interview session going on. But I have a really special guest who decided to sit and have a conversation with me today. I've seen this young man around town. He stands out like a sore thumb, and that's a good way, you know. I mean, he towers over. He's a good-looking brother. He dresses well, so it's only befitting that I asked him to sit and speak to us this morning. And his name is Mr. Terence Wiles. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Yes, ring.
You're already trying to clip my ring. I gotta watch that. Well, I'm glad you took your time off this morning to sit down and talk to me and my cameraman here. Hopefully we won't keep him laughing too much and the camera starts to move.
I'm gonna try to tone it down a bit.
Yeah, we have a problem. Don't tone it down too much because he's a clown too. But tell everybody, Terence, where you're from.
I am originally from Danville, Virginia.
Okay, is that a country southern town?
I am a country boy.
You're a country boy. Is that right?
Yes.
Wonderful.
All the way.
Okay, well, how long have you been in this area?
I moved here in, I think, 2008. Like the end of 2008, yeah.
Okay, and you've been here for a few years. Well, what brought you to the Washington metropolitan area?
Work and a relationship. Okay. I actually hated it when I moved here.
Okay.
I mean, I'm used to driving. I'm used to, like, nice people. And when I first got here,
wait a minute, back it up. Okay,
listen,
nice.
It's a transition. It's a transition.
Okay, all right.
So when I first got here, I'm from the country. We speak to everybody every single time we see you.
Right.
So I'm not used to going into an office setting, like, because at the place where I worked at the time, I was like, hey, how are you? And people are like,
right. Why are you
giving me the side eye? So finally, I was like, I hate this place, But after a while, I kind of just learned to adapt, and I actually love it now.
Okay, well, cool. I mean, you stayed. We allowed you to stay and kept you for a while.
Thank you.
Okay, well, cool. Well, we're glad you're here. We're definitely glad you're here. Well, I'm sure it's definitely a major transition coming from, a southern town like that. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it sounds very country.
It is very, 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 very country.
Well, you don't really have that, kind of twang, that little dialect that kind of makes people think that you're...
You know why, though? Because I used to read aloud, all the time. I used to read a lot, and I would read in character voices.
Is that right?
So I think after a while, I just kind of lost it, maybe.
Okay, you kind of did that on purpose, I think, maybe.
I don't know. I just did it. I just thought it was fun when I was younger. That's what I always did. I was a little weird.
Okay. Well, okay. Maybe some of that trend. I don't want you to get hit me in the face. Well, tell us, I mean, you have a lot of things going on, my friend. I mean, we're going to talk a little later about, this man's got a new song out. He's a musician. We're going to talk about, what he does. But I really kind of wanted to begin with the whole fashion and style piece. And I kind of got recognized. You were working with a partner, a buddy of yours, on some projects, and a lot. You got like tattoos all over, and and interesting, to even touch on the whole tattoo piece and how I relate style and fashion into people just kind of interpreting their artistic expression through art, whether it's tattoos, piercings, or whatever. So, where did the tattoos come about, and why does it take a certain type of person to kind of, because you got kind of like the chest arm thing going on, but does it take a certain type of person to kind of really be comfortable enough to obviously to sport tats like that, and why did you choose to kind of do that, and what makes that a part of Terence?
I've always considered myself just a little bit different, like a little bit off center from most people. First off, I'm colorblind, so I don't really see color the same way most people do.
Okay.
So I think that's actually helped me more than it's hurt me in life, because it allows me to see from a different perspective.
Okay.
So there's that. The second thing is, like, I'm the type of person, if I put it together, it goes. Like, I don't really ask for anybody else's opinion. I hate that. Because everybody, they have their own thing, and a lot of people are just kind of set in their little box of what they like to do. And I'm not like that.
Right.
So there's that. And then third, if I could have my way, I would have tattoos all over my body. Well, maybe not my face, because I do like my face.
And you want to be able to have a 9-to-5 job just in case the singing thing don't work out.
No, you never know. Listen, that's the reality of being an artist.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely. It was a gradual thing for me. I started off with this little smiley face that I want to have removed, but all my friends are like, no, don't remove it. but it just doesn't seem to go with the rest of the tattoos that I have on my body.
Yeah, the other ones are kind of rad.
Exactly. So I'm like, what do I do? But yeah, I don't think it takes a particular type of person. I just think that if that's you, do it. Like that's kind of how I've always been. It's like it's not a thought in my head of like, you know, can I do it? It's like, how can I do it? You know. Okay. And I'll be honest with you, that shit hurts like hell sometimes. Right. But you know, when after you get it and you're looking at it, you're like, oh my God, and then people start complimenting you, like, yeah, I did that.
Well, and that's what I kind of wanted to get at, you know, the whole complimenting piece, because and that's why I kind of wanted to touch on just what kind of person that does that, because usually an extrovert or somebody who's a little, I won't want to say full of themselves, or you have to have a certain confidence though about yourself. Whether you know, a lot of people have tattoos, body tattoos, and may not be, you know, so well fit as some people are, and they look really nice, of course, if you have a really nice body. But it also takes a certain secureness about yourself to be able to sport that. I mean, in the summertime, you know, you have your tank tops, you know, you tend to shop, you know, it affects your style.
It does.
Right?
It does.
Because you tend to buy clothes that accent your tats, right? So to me, it's all inclusive in how you interpret your own sense of style. Talk about that. I mean, how does that really affect how you dress? And it probably has.
But I have to start with saying that when I grew up, I was a really, really skinny little kid. I used to get picked on all the time for being skinny. So as I got older, I started, you know, working out. Now, I'm not as big as I possibly could be. You know, at this point, I'm like 212, but I'm 6'3". So I have, you know, room to kind of play with my weight.
All you gotta do is eat some more pecan pie and some Hostess Twinkies.
You listen, right. I need to get it together after the holidays. But right. So I do think that has played a big role in why I am the way that I am at this point, because, you know, you go through these things, and I've always thought of myself as being a little bit of an introvert, really. But my friends would seem to think that I'm not. Right. But I think that's only because I've learned to not be in certain environments, because I need to get things done. I need to come across a certain type of way. I need to be social in order for my business and the things that I want to do to kind of thrive. But getting back to, you know, the tattoos, I mean, growing up skinny and then working out, and then now I'm at a place where I finally feel comfortable with how I look. And that took me a really, really long time to get to. That's something I struggle with for like a long time.
That's interesting, because I mean, you're a good-looking guy. I mean, you got the nice colored eyes and you're light complexion. I mean, actually, you're not as light as I remember you. It seems like you're on a lot of your pictures. You have a lot of light. You seem more light-skinned than you actually are. You're actually a little darker than I remember when I saw you.
Well, I did just come back from Cape Town. So
okay, you got a little bit of tan. You got a little, you got a little bronze. He got a little bronze on right there. Okay, I mean, so you know, so that's probably a tough argument, because you know, some people would consider you a pretty boy, if you will. So if people have told you, well, maybe you don't, and I understand that, but people have maybe made these comments or compliments to you growing up. So, and if you never really felt it, no matter what people say about you, if you don't already feel it and have claimed it, it really doesn't matter. So I guess that's why I wanted to find out, you know, because you don't give that in your stature. You know, when you walk into a room and you're a tall, good-looking guy, and the fact that you wear the piercings, you know, you have, I mean, the piercings, the tattoos, and I don't know if you do the piercings either, but you know,
I have them, but they
okay, you know, you may have them some places that everybody ain't supposed to know, so that's a whole nother show.
They're very irritating.
But so that's why it was really interesting to me, you know, what type of person does that, or how do you have to kind of classify yourself? But you seem to think that you had to kind of grow into your looks and become confident and kind of adapt. That wasn't really your personality.
No, I still don't feel like it is, because sometimes, first I have to say thank you. There was a lot of compliments there, but I still, when somebody says something like that, I'm still a little surprised. Like, are they talking about me? You know what I mean? Like, because I never grew up thinking like that. So it's not ingrained in my head.
I got you.
So it's always still like,
okay, thank you. Thanks for thinking so. Thanks for thinking that. Well, that's good, and I think that's the whole charm about you, because you don't come off that way. And I guess maybe if people you know, people, we come up with our own perceptions about how people are based on how they look.
Right.
So if you don't know you, and so you know, you really wouldn't know. But we talked about the whole tattoo piece. So how does that, and how it affects you? Of course, obviously in the summertime, how you dress and how confident you're showing, great, because you get to show that off. But how does where does the whole style piece? Do you consider yourself I mean, did you ever do the modeling thing? Do you consider yourself a style or fashion conscious person?
There was a point in time where I wanted to kind of model. I even had an agency back in Richmond before I moved
here. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
More along the commercial. And listen, people can make a lot of money from commercial modeling, whether they know it or not. It's not all. It doesn't have to all be high fashion.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But you know, I'm not as, I think, concerned with my looks as I would need to be in order to be a model. That's just my perception. It was just different things that I felt like we had to do that I really wasn't. It's not that important to me.
Okay.
I like working out because I like looking good and feeling good, but not the looking good is not as much like looking good aesthetic. It's just to me, you know, I just want to look okay in my clothes, and when my clothes come off, I want to look good too. There's that, but I don't want to have to be dependent on somebody else judging me for my work. In terms of how I look.
Got you.
I'd rather the work that I'm doing speak for what
I
stand for. You know,
and that's very key. When you decide to become a model, because that's a ruthless business.
It really is.
And they will chew you up and down if you don't look a certain way, and if you're just this and that, whatever. So you have to, you know, you have to really be secure. And if you have any insecurities at all, you know, they will just totally chew you up.
I think it's a lot of hard work, and it wasn't the work that I wanted to focus on. You know, music has been more my passion. So you have to. You got to stay on your ground with that, and you can't just half-ass it. So.
Well, you brought up music, so we're gonna transition to the music thing. And you know, you got some music going on out there that got me bobbing my feet too. And but tell everybody a little bit about how did you kind of get involved in the whole music thing, and what you want to do with that, and talk a little bit about this song you got out here.
It's been a long transition. I've been into music since I first started working in a music store. I mean, you know, my friends would always ask me, "What's coming out? What's new? What's hot?" So I would always tell them, you know, like we had a release schedule at work. So I was always into that, like heavy into it. I think when I got out of college, I started producing for myself. This was back in like 2000. I wrote my first song in 2000, produced my first song in 2000. So it's been on from there. Then I started DJing, and then after a while, it was like, oh, listen, I might as well do this on my own. You know, I might as well start, you know, like creating my own like solo character, I guess I should say. And that's kind of where the Richie Sky came in.
Okay, Richie Sky, is that the name?
Richie Sky.
DJ Richie Sky. DJ Richie Sky. Is that how you say it?
I mean, you know.
That's how one could say it,
that's right? That's how one could
so
say
that's how the birth of DJ Richie Sky. So, but you sing, rap, DJ. I mean, how you're like a package deal. How do you market? What kind of artist are you? Are you a singer? Are you a rapper? Are you a DJ?
I would more say that I am I would say hip hop artist.
Okay.
I would hesitate to say singer because I really can't sing for shit.
Okay.
I can sing well enough to tell you what I want to hear.
Right.
And I can sing well enough to, you know, put a melody together for someone else.
Okay.
But I mean, that's an entirely different animal, and I'm not that good at it.
Okay.
But in terms of like, you know, rapping, I've been doing that since I was probably about 13.
Okay. So that was always an interest of yours. So this was inevitable for you.
Yeah, but you know, I think as you kind of go through high school and even into college, sometimes you don't think that that's something that you can really do.
Yeah, it's not attainable.
Yeah, I mean, and you kind of get set on a path based on what people kind of place upon you. You know, it was expected for me to go to college, so I went to college. You know, I mean, I don't regret that at all because it has definitely helped me with what I'm doing now. But you know, I never really thought that I could do what I'm doing now.
Wonderful. Well, how did that process work for you? And it obviously is working for you. And how, you know, after you give us a little history on how that worked for you, where do you want it to go and what do you want to do next?
You know, it's so funny. Everything that I've said I wanted to do in life, I've been able to do. So it was.
And you're a young man.
Yeah, I mean, so listen, if I can keep going, that's good. But everything that I've said I wanted to do, so when I set out I wanted to DJ, I put it out there, and it was like God and the universe brought it all to me, because I started getting booked through word of mouth. I didn't even have a website out. I didn't have any type of social media out at the time, you know, but the marketing person in me knew you got to develop these things, you know, in order to gain credibility.
Right.
But most of the gigs that I've gotten, honestly, have been because I work with someone, and that was something I also learned, is be good to work with.
Okay.
Be easy to work with. People
like
that, and they'll recommend you for other things.
Absolutely.
So that's something I did learn from the modeling world. They kind of did ingrain that at the agency that I was at. But in terms of music, you know, it's worked the same way.
Okay.
You know, people like that. And so most recently, I just started working on my own project, and that's been quite a challenge.
Okay.
Quite a challenge, but it's been rewarding at the same time.
Absolutely. So what's next? What's next for DJ Richie Sky? What's next?
I have a couple of gigs coming up in terms of like DJing. I'm also
tell everybody.
My video will be out.
Sell it.
It's for my single, which is on iTunes right now, called How You Like It, featuring Prince Jarrell. It's on iTunes, all digital retailers, and the video will be out on the 15th of December. So look out for that.
Well, tell them how they can find it, where they can find you, your Facebook, email, phone. Some people get their phone number out. I don't know if you
I ain't giving my phone number out. You can have my phone number, but I ain't giving it to the people. No, you can reach me via Instagram, RichieSkye. That's Richie Sky. You can also look me up on my website, www.richiesky.com. On Facebook, Richie Sky Music. YouTube, DJ Richie Sky.
I think he done covered it all. I think we done covered it all. Well, that's amazing stuff, man. I wish you nothing but success with this. It's a really hot tune, and I know some more stuff is on the way.
Oh, yes.
And I'm one of your biggest fans, man, and I'll continue to support you and all that kind of stuff. And I really appreciate you taking out a few minutes of your morning to come and speak to me in Style Speaks.
Anytime I can do something like this, I'm honored to do it.
Absolutely. So if you get some offers, and we'll work on that on my commission and how I can get paid for some of the. I don't know how that's supposed to work, but anyway, I didn't even have that rehearsed, so I don't even know how to.
Doing business, most definitely.
Okay, we'll sit down over a egg McMuffin and talk about it.
Okay, if you give me some bookings, you're getting it too. So all right,
buddy. Take care. Thank you. This has been another edition of Style Speaks. Until the next time, Ron Bird. We'll see you again.